Okay, so hello everyone. I'm here with the last topic of this chapter, Introduction to Biology. So today we're going to be discussing the services of biology. Uh, yeah. So our topic is services of biology. Biology has served mankind. It's given us a lot of things, from preventive measures, immunization, drug treatment, biological control, integrated disease management, and integrated pest management. And there are many more things that biology has given us. Like it's given us genetic engineering, it's given us the methods to research. It's given us the hydroponics, the pasteurization techniques, and it's given us the antibiotic usage and the cloning techniques to increase the yield of some species. So we're going to be studying that today. So let's move on. Services of biology. Okay. So here you can see a lot of pictures in here. You can see you can see there is this picture of this man treating a treating a little boy. This is a like vaccination thing. During the old times, the vaccination techniques were discovered. They would use a method called regulation, and that's how the first vaccines were discovered. They identified the positive agents of a disease, and they will try to eliminate these positive agents of the disease. And they'll study the mode of transmission. And that's how so many vaccines were developed, and that's how so many effective biological measures were taken. Okay. Next up, you can see this picture, treatment of oil spills in oceans with good bacteria and surfactants, yeah, biosurfactants. So you can see that this ship has spilled some oil. The scientists have made some genetically engineered bacteria that would eat up that oil from the surface of the sea, and that's how the oil spill would be reduced. You see the picture in here. It's got a hand, and it's got some plants and some animals in the hand, and this means that biology has has enabled us to maintain a stable and balanced ecosystem, which is very much needed to protect and conserve the animal and plant species. And here you can see a guy holding a tree in his hand, like a really small tree. And this means that biology has helped us reduce soil erosion and flooding by conservation of forests. So there are many services that biology has given us. Like one of these you saw it here. Okay. Vaccination. What's vaccination? Like we studied earlier. It's it was discovered by a Jenner. Not the Jenner that you're thinking about. It was this guy called Edward Jenner. In 1796, he discovered the vaccination thing. And yeah, it started with the first disease called cowpox. The cowpox the cowpox pass was used to do the immunization procedures, and we we also use the vaccines today to immunize our kids against different viruses and different bacterial infections. So there are some diseases like polio, whooping cough, mumps that can be easily controlled by vaccination or shots. And Mr. Edward Jenner was the first one to develop this technique of vaccination in 1796. Cowpox pus, known as Weka, from Latin, Weka is cow. Yeah, Weka means cow. From this word evolved the present time vaccination and vaccine. Inoculation or vaccination is carried out to make the people immune from viral or bacterial epidemics, or for some diseases, the individuals are vaccinated in their early life to make them immune to those diseases. It is claimed that smallpox has been totally eliminated from the world by using this method, and even vaccine against AIDS is being administered in some humans on experimental basis. Like, yeah, you can now be AIDS free. You won't be catching AIDS if you're vaccinated against AIDS, right? Next we got the drug treatment here. So drugs is not the kind of drugs that you're thinking about. It's the medicinal drugs, okay? So if these are medicinal drugs, they need to be used in you gotta use them not excessively, and you don't have to use them like really small amount. You have to be using them in moderation. Yeah. So antibiotics are the kind of drugs that kill the bacteria. Obviously those bacteria were not resistant to the antibiotics, and they also like kill some viruses. There are some antibiotics that kill the viruses. There are some things like the radiotherapy and the chemotherapy. You're probably familiar with that. It's a really effective thing for cancer patients. Like the cancer patients would undergo radiotherapy by exposure to shockwave radiation to the cancerous part, and the chemotherapy would be like anti-cancer chemicals administered in the patient's body. It would not only kill the cancer cells, but sometimes it will also kill the body cells. So that's why patients who are suffering from cancer lose a lot of hair, and they lose a lot of weight. That's why they become really, really weak. Then there's gene therapy, new technique to repair the defective genes, and it consists of isolating the normal gene and inserting it into the host through the bone marrow cells. Okay, now we can move on to biological control. The pests are destroyed by using some living organisms that compete with or eat them up. For example, an aphid that attacks a walnut tree is being controlled by wasps that parasitize this aphid. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading that. Okay, so bacteria are also used as biopesticides. I can give an example. Like some people in China, or I don't know what country it was, but they used like fish in their fields. I think those were rice fields, and the fish would just eat up all the pests, all the insects, and their fields will be insect free. We've got integrated disease management next. So when we use all the methods to ensure that the disease is gone, that's called integrated disease management. Combating disease utilizing all methods as and when required and ensuring a participation of community in this program is known as integrated disease management. And effective control of particular disastrous disease or all common diseases of a plant can be achieved by using all relevant appropriate methods of disease control. Such an approach of disease is called integrated disease management. Let's see some ways. So you can see the regulatory field sanitization, like you just sanitize the field, and then there's cultural technique, and then there's the use of chemical like nematicides that will eliminate the worms, and then biological crop rotation, which means you're not going to be growing crops in the same area. And then there's the integrated disease management, which means that you can integrated disease management is Sorry, I meant integrated pest management. So, integrated pest management, also known as integrated pest control, is a broad-based approach that integrates both chemical and non-chemical practices for economic control of pests. IPM aims to suppress pest population below the economic injury level. That means that it will not harm our economy. Okay, so it involves some measures that we need to take in order to go on with the integrated pest management. It involves you need to forecast the weather, and you need to be trapping the pests, and you need to be monitoring the condition of plants. You need to be making like recording those monitor the information that you've collected from these things. You gotta uh you gotta control the culture, you gotta control the pests. You gotta use the biological control like we discussed earlier, and the chemical control, or you gotta do the soil preparation and the planting again. So that's how we do the integrated pest management. I hope you enjoyed today's video. So thank you so much. Goodbye.